What's up, everybody? Bandit Chad here for another Taco Tuesday, and unfortunately we have some bad news to share with you all.
Alright, so for my truck, I did just have my 20,000 mile service, and everything went good well with that, but I did have Toyota check out one issue that I've been encountering for a month, or well, months now, and it's only gotten worse. So for those of you that know about issues that were prominent in the second generation Tacomas, there was a needle bearing in the front differential that would go out and would have to be replaced. For the most part, it was under warranty unless, you know, you didn't take it in with during this period and, you know, go get the service department to take care of it for you. But mine has gone out. So I'm still able to drive it. It's not a bad thing to drive. It's just annoying noise-wise. So I'm having the dealership take care of that. The parts are ordered, and hopefully they'll come in this week. So we'll be able to keep you updated on that. The thing about this that I find kind of interesting is that you would have thought Toyota would have completely changed the design of the needle bearing or gone to a different supplier to kind of combat this issue. Now, it doesn't seem to be a very common thing with these third generation Tacomas. I've done a good bit of research on it to see people who have also had this, such as on Tacoma World, and it's not really out there. So I'm not saying I'm the first case for this, but it's definitely not as common. So maybe it just happened to be a defective part, or maybe something happened out on the trail and I was flexing a lot, because most people that were having this issue were ones that had done lifts on their trucks, and it put even more stress on the front CVs. So I'm not really sure what happened, but hopefully once I get this new one put in, I won't encounter this issue again. So, like I said, we'll keep you updated on that. Hopefully everything will go smoothly with that. It was covered under warranty. I don't have to pay for the part or any of the labor because, as I said, this is not something that, you know, is normally expected, especially at 20,000 miles.
So if you are wanting to know the right area to look in for where your needle bearing will be, it is on the driver's side, right where the CV does go into your front differential. So hopefully you can get a good view of where this area will be.
So for those of you that haven't experienced this in your truck or watched any videos of a bad needle bearing in the front of your vehicle, you're going to hear a sound that's kind of a whirring slash groaning sound. And it's mostly when you are slowing down. You can hear it a little bit when you're speeding up, but it's hard to hear that over the sound of your engine and exhaust and everything like that. But when you're slowing down, I would say mostly between 25 and 0 miles an hour, you're going to be hearing that bad needle bearing up in the front. And, you know, what we find is interesting is he bought the TRD off-road to do more wheeling and to be more trail oriented, and having the access cab, it's definitely a lot easier to use out on the trails. And he's used the truck twice as much as I have, and probably twice as hard out on the trails than I have with this truck. And what we find interesting about that is I didn't take it out on the trails that much, and yet I still had this issue. You know, I did get the truck to be, you know, a good all-around vehicle, especially on the road. And compared to my last truck that wasn't four-wheel drive, I wanted four-wheel drive for, you know, the snow, if I were in any type of precarious situation with weather, anything like that. So
right, and another interesting thing that we found is when you're slowing down and you put it into four-wheel drive, there is none of that grinding noise or whirring or anything like that. It's only when the truck is in two-wheel drive, and it's regardless of what kind of gear selection you're in with the transmission. So you can be in neutral, still makes the noise. You can be in drive, still makes the noise. So all of that's pretty interesting, and we're still kind of confused about the whole situation, but we'll be sure to keep you all updated when all of this gets fixed. Now, moving on into some news this week. It's been really busy, you know, with the Frankfurt Auto Show, and just with a lot of manufacturers coming out with their news for 2018 and beyond. But we'll start here with the Shelby Raptor. Now, Ford seems to do a lot of these special edition trucks. You know, they have the Roush Edition F-150, the Shelbys, and everything else. But they are going to make a Raptor Shelby trim, and that's going to start at $117,460. So the base price on a normal Raptor is around $53,000, and many people are paying $70,000 or $80,000 just for a normal Raptor. So if you want to get really crazy and blow all of your paycheck, you can go ahead and option up one of these trucks. You know, the normal Raptor has 650 horsepower. That seems like
well, more than you need.
Right. Definitely a good amount,
Yeah.
but this is promising more horsepower, more capability, and everything else. Sticking with truck news here this week, Nissan has officially confirmed a new generation of the Frontier, and that's going to be built here stateside, right?
Yes, absolutely. It's going to be built in Canton, Mississippi, that plant that Nissan has. So they will be producing that. Still an unconfirmed date. We don't know exactly when it's coming, but we just know that it will be coming.
Right. And another story here from the Frankfurt Auto Show, actually regarding Toyota this week, is last week or 2 weeks ago, we talked about an updated version of the Land Cruiser. Now, we did see an updated version of the Land Cruiser, but it was not the one we were expecting. They actually updated the Land Cruiser Prado, which we don't get here stateside. It's a little bit smaller version, really more similar to our 4Runner instead of a Land Cruiser, but that was facelifted, just kind of a mid-model refresh and everything else, but hopefully that'll be a good truck for people that want that sort of thing, and hopefully we see a actual Land Cruiser here updated before too long as well for us in America. Also, the FJ Cruiser is going to hang on for at least one more year in Japan. So we stopped getting the FJ Cruisers a couple years ago. Japan has been getting them, but they've been selling fewer and fewer and fewer of those. So hopefully that means another one's in the works, and we'll be seeing another one of those off-road variants from Toyota before too long. So we also have some more unfortunate crossover news. A few weeks ago we were talking about how for 2019 Chevrolet was going to bring back the Blazer nameplate, and we were hoping that was because they wanted to compete with the likes of the 4Runner and with the new Bronco that's supposed to be coming out from Ford and everything else here in the next coming years. But it looks like the 2019 Blazer has been confirmed as a crossover, so it'll be slotted between the Equinox and the Traverse, and it's basically just going to be, you know, the medium size between those. You know, the Equinox is already pretty small. The Traverse is, you know, pretty large, a 3-row SUV. So they're saying they need something to fill the gap between those two, and that's where the Blazer will be heading. So kind of unfortunate there, not what we were hoping for, but hopefully it is a good seller for them. Also, another crossover news, it looks like the next generation G-Wagon, or at least a variation of the next generation G-Wagon, will be a crossover. Now, the G-Wagon hasn't really been updated since really the 80s. It's getting really long in the tooth, and you know, they have some interesting models where they'll put portal axles on it or slap a big AMG motor in there, but really it's more or less the same vehicle that you've been able to get for a long time, and it's not overly comfortable, it's not overly big. I'm not sure if you've ever sat in one or ridden in one, but it's actually pretty tight in there.
It is, yeah.
But it looks like for the next generation of that, it will be a crossover. So crossovers are becoming more and more popular, and I think most manufacturers are realizing that most people don't take their vehicles off-road, and they don't really need the body on frame and really a whole lot of articulation or ground clearance. So the crossover makes a lot more sense for a lot of people.
Right. So unfortunately for us, you know, we're really into the body on frame vehicles, but crossovers don't really fit us.
Yeah.
So for our last bit of news, we do have some Volkswagen news, and it looks like you're going to be able to go onto Amazon and schedule test drives through your closest dealership. Now, this is, in my opinion, kind of like setting up a reservation at a local restaurant that you might be going to with your family, except this time now you're making reservations to go test drive a vehicle, which we think is pretty cool.
Right, and I've never heard anything like that. I know Amazon a couple years ago was trying to get it so you can buy cars off of Amazon, and I believe, as far as I know, you can still do that. But I've never heard of anyone just using a third party to set up test drives, so definitely a pretty interesting idea there, and hopefully it works out well for them.
Right.
But that pretty much wraps up everything we have to talk about for this week. Thank you all very much for watching. Have a fantastic week, everybody. We'll catch you next time.
See you guys.